Hello and welcome to Crypto TV. This is Manoj Dara. Motivated by investors' interest, the cryptocurrency market recently touched the $3 trillion mark for the first time. This puts in perspective the craze of around the digital currencies, which have emerged as a lucrative investment tool for many. However, along with massive returns, cryptocurrencies come with a fair share of difficulties too, as the asset remains extremely volatile, which often discourages investors from putting their money on it. So, to solve this mystery for you, to explain the basic principles of cryptocurrencies and how one should approach it before buying, we have invited a very special guest. He is an author, amateur boxer, blockchain architect, tintologist, and a retired hacker. He comes from a military family, co-founded Asian School of Cyber Laws, worked in a cyber investigation and cyber laws for 16 years. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Rohas Nagpal. Rohas, welcome to the show. And
Thank
the second guest we have with us on the studio is Mr. Prasanna Lohar. He's from DCB Bank. Prasanna, pleasure to have you. And he is the founding member of Indian Blockchain Forum. Prasanna and Rohas, both welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So Rohas, my first question to you is cryptocurrency a good investment? I mean, we are talking about cryptocurrency and its universe. There are roughly around more than 6,000 coins. If you can just begin with this.
Sure. So what you have to understand is when I talk about cryptocurrency, I am not a typical trader or investor.
Lovely.
Okay. I am a blockchain architect and my roji roti comes from crypto because I build solutions on blockchains.
Perfect.
Now, if my clients come to me with asking me to build solutions on Ethereum, Binance, Solana, and few other blockchains, then I have to buy those tokens and keep because I have to use it to deploy my solution.
Sure.
So my perspective on crypto is very different from what a typical investor would say.
Perfect.
A typical investor today, he looks at things like DogeCoin, Shiba Inu, and he says, I will become a billionaire by investing small amount of money. On TV, we are seeing ads, put 100 rupees into Bitcoin and you will become millionaire.
Lovely.
That is extremely wrong approach. And I feel most people who are today buying crypto are just gambling.
Perfect.
It is like you go to the race course for horses, or you go to lottery tickets, or you come to crypto. It is all being done like that. And that, I think, is a very dangerous thing that is happening.
So Rohas's view, Prasanna, is a bit different. What is your view on this?
So I do agree with Rohas. I've been following Rohas since last 4 or 5 years. And but at the same time, I want to talk about technology behind the crypto, right? So blockchain technology. The magic which is being happened with the internet kind of a technology since last 20-25 years. Blockchain comes and says, I am a radical change agent. You have seen a lot of things with internet, but I will take your lifestyle, businesses, operations to the next level. So that's the power of technology behind crypto. Although crypto is a bit new, it will take a lot of time to get into actual practical use cases. So I certainly agree with Rohas on those terms.
Perfect. Yeah. Different people, different opinion. That's the point. But Rohas, my second question to you is: so what is the difference between shares and crypto? So we have
Sure.
all known that shares is a very matured market, regulators, so on and so forth. What's the view on this side?
Sure. So when you buy shares of a company, you are buying ownership of the company.
True.
So even one equity share entitles you to some amount of ownership.
Right.
But when you buy a crypto, there is no company.
Perfect.
Right? These are blockchains and you are basically buying blockchain tokens, which don't really give you ownership, but they allow you to do different things. Like, let me give you an example. If you were to invest in a utility coin like ETH,
right.
ETH is used to power or as a fuel for all the transactions happening on the Ethereum platform. So, just in the real world, we need petrol and fuel, diesel, to move all the trucks for the transport sector. Similarly, when we are doing decentralized finance business, we are doing it on Ethereum and other platforms. We need the native tokens to do the business.
Lovely.
But that doesn't mean you are getting any kind of ownership. So, expecting to buy those tokens and then the price should keep going up is actually the wrong trend. And it is only happening because a lot of people from outside the industry are putting money in.
Okay.
But they don't understand the basic logic of how this industry works. And that is why, unfortunately, most of them are today losing money.
So you've already mentioned this. A lot of people from outside are coming and investing. Who are those outsiders?
I would say somebody who doesn't work in the blockchain industry.
Perfect. All right. Oh, lovely.
He's only coming to put money in.
Perfect. money in and make the most use of this volatility.
That's correct.
Perfect. So what's your view on this, Prasanna?
I think stock market, which you have seen since last so many years, right? And if you see the type of businesses or a type of maturity of the businesses, it's all for a practical purpose.
Sure.
People have knowledge. How do you really invest into that? If you compare to the crypto, I think crypto is a bit immature. Rather, a lot of immaturity is there to really look at how do you really invest into that area. Yeah.
All right. So as we are talking about, we have already spoken about stock markets and its correlation with cryptocurrencies. There is a lot of difference as we speak. Rohas has also has opined on this. So why is everyone interested in crypto space, Rohas, all of a sudden?
Again, I would say this year probably because of DogeCoin and then
okay.
Shiba Inu. So suddenly people saw that people are
and the
making
promise to take you to the moon.
You are correct. The promise to take you to the moon or
All right.
Lambo.
Okay.
Two keywords are there, moon and Lambo.
Okay.
Means it will go to the moon and I will be able to buy a Lamborghini car.
Lovely.
That is the unfortunate dream that is motivating most people.
Prasanna, what's your view? Moon or Lambo?
I think there is another view, right? So I think social media or media our industry has done a lot of campaigns.
Fantastic point.
Right? If you have seen IPL, right?
Yeah.
More than 400 crores being invested by some of those companies just to say ki this is something future currency. But it is not in the right direction. I think that has really impacted millennials and various of those guys who are looking for some alternate way of investment. I think, yeah, that's the impact.
You mentioned about millennials. So my next question to Rohas is your relation between millennials and crypto. What is bringing them these two things together? If you can just highlight that.
So I have two daughters. One is in 8th standard, one is in 11th, and both are active in the crypto world. So one of them makes videos, the other one is more on the written content, and she's actually writing content for other entities also. What they like about it is that it's a lot cooler.
All right.
Like, today if you talk to a youngster, I don't think usko Provident Fund or PPF mein interest hai.
Bilkul.
They are more interested in the more cool things, and naturally crypto sounds a lot cooler. But other than that, they are also beginning to think differently because they are born into the digital world.
All right.
They are already seeing things like Metaverse. They are already so active on social media.
Sure.
So automatically everything they want to do is tuned towards digital and tuned towards crypto. It's just a completely different mindset of the youngsters today.
Youngsters' mindset, what is your opinion on this, Prashant?
Yeah, I think I do agree with the Rohas. I think the way industry or businesses or economy is moving, right? So from a collaboration to autonomous era, new technologies are automatically taking it to the next level. Internet is there, right? It is a commodity everybody is using, but new thing like AI, Metaverse,
All right.
and having those digital intention towards digital assets, right? Gone were those days we are worried about physical asset, but now people or youngsters are worried about their digital assets.
All right.
So that's the traction.
So concerns over digital asset, that's the word coming in from both the guests. But there is lot of ifs and buts that is happening. There is a difference between public and private cryptocurrencies. There was something which has been going on in the parliament, which we will not discuss in details about it. But overall, Rohas, what's your view? What is the difference between a public and private currency? If you can just simplify this for our viewers.
Sure. So I think what they were meaning about private cryptocurrency is things like Bitcoin or DogeCoin, Litecoin. All of these are considered private.
So market में इतना concern क्यों था?
I'll explain. Actually, cryptocurrency is the wrong word to use.
All right.
The correct word is crypto asset, and there are 11 types of crypto assets, 2 of which are currency related.
Perfect.
One what we can call as ready money, example being something like a Litecoin, and second being something called privacy coins like Monero, where even on the blockchain you will not be able to get data and criminals can very easily misuse. Now the fear of the government and the regulators is that if such kind of unregulated currencies start to be used, that is the end of the taxation system.
Perfect.
Because you can easily bypass tax.
Absolutely.
Second problem comes is money laundering becomes very easy. Criminals can start using it. So the fear of the government is actually logical.
All right.
And yes, I strongly believe we need regulation.
Yes.
The only thing which I request the government is don't consider all crypto to be the same.
Perfect.
Understand that there are 11 types and then different regulations should be for different types.
Okay.
Prasanna, a strong statement coming in from Rohas that government is, the move is logical. What's your opinion on this?
I think it's a very simple, right? Look at the banking ecosystem running since so many years and so intact, right? It is running on a regulation governed by many countries, right? So that's the way crypto is something new, and as Rohas has guided, there are different use cases and different types of currencies. So which are those currencies which are beneficial for your normal citizens? How do you really look at various other aspects, right? The way banks look at it.
Sure.
And there are many other industries who look at it. I think regulation is required in the right direction for many things like data security, privacy, the use cases, and so many other aspects. Yeah.
So, but Rohas, how will you explain this for all those viewers who are watching this for the first time and they are really looking to get into this this train? So, how does the cryptocurrency works first of all, and how do one start buying them?
So I think first step that they must understand there are different kinds of crypto assets. Again, I will not use the word cryptocurrency.
Sure.
There are different assets.
All right.
So first thing that you need to ask yourself as an investor, what is your risk appetite and what is your risk tolerance level? You should only invest the money that you can 100% afford to lose. Because in crypto, it is not surprising to see that the price can go to zero. So do not borrow money, don't take loan and invest. If you're investing, if you're a youngster investing pocket money, fine, be ready to lose 100% of it.
All right. Okay.
After that, once you have understood your tolerance level and your risk level, then study some of the important cryptos and try to understand what does this crypto do. Like if you're buying shares in the company, you have to understand what the company does. So if a company is making toothpaste, then you know no matter what happens, human beings will continue to brush their teeth.
Exactly.
So investing in a company making good toothpaste is a good idea, no matter what. Similarly, there are certain cryptos doing work in certain sectors. If that sector makes sense to you and you feel, yeah, this sounds logical to me, only then you should consider investing. And the first step would be naturally, you would open an account with a crypto exchange.
Exactly.
You would transfer some small amount of money which you can afford to lose. Then you can buy small quantities and start to regularly monitor. Keep reading the latest news about the crypto that you have invested in. And then if you perform your actions logically, I think it can be a good sector to get into. But please study, learn, and then get in. Don't just dive inside.
Exactly. That's a beautiful piece of advice from Rohas. What's your opinion on this, Prasanna? Because he had already mentioned this. Do your research. Look before investing. He already gave an example about an FMCG company. You know how this is crucial and important for them. So, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's very right? Somebody need to know what's his appetite to lose, right? So,
Sure.
So typically 2 to 3%. This is what industry, or it could be 1%, right? It depends upon his appetite. He can always look at, he can invest that much and see. And at the same time, if he is investing, study the website, white papers for that crypto.
Sure.
Who are all the founders behind that? What is that use case they are bringing in? There are a lot of groups around some of the cryptos. Understand how the industry is moving around that and use your own intelligence, because it's a volatile, and be ready for volatility as Rohas is guiding us. Yeah.
So, volatility and do your
I have
research.
one small thing to add here.
Please go ahead.
Just one thing. So I usually recommend 5 things to look at. ROHAS, which spells out my name also. So R is for the revenue.
Right.
How is that crypto project going to generate revenue for the ecosystem?
Superb.
Ecosystem means startups, miners, validators. So R. O is for organization. What is the team behind this and what have they done in the past?
Correct.
H is for history. So look at the history of the project, the liquidity, which exchanges they are listed on, all those things. A is for algorithm. What is the consensus mechanism, algorithm, and technology of the project?
Correct.
Excellent.
And finally, S is the social network. So look at all the platforms, Discord, Reddit, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. How active are they? What is the kind of following they are having? Once you look at this ROHAS and you feel it is doing well on all the parameters, go for it.
Fantastic. I mean, this is a very good correlation between, Rohas and the actual, letters which you have mentioned. It was good to know about all these things. But as we are talking about basics of cryptocurrencies, as we have already mentioned about, how to go about it. But where do you store your cryptocurrencies for all those first timers? How do you keep your cryptocurrencies? How safe are these to keep in your exchange wallet or so on and so forth? They would just highlight this.
So there are 2 kinds of wallets. One we call custodial and one we call non-custodial. Custodial means somebody else has control of your private key. Now, classic example of that is a centralized exchange.
All right.
If you are very new to crypto and the amount is not very big, keep it with a centralized exchange. It's the simplest.
All right.
But if the amount is getting more and you want to keep it for the long term, then we go for the other kind of wallet, which can be again of 3 types.
All right.
Paper wallet, hardware wallet, or software wallet. for most newcomers, I would strongly recommend a software wallet. You can do a mobile app,
Perfect.
or you can use an extension in your browser. Classic example is Trust Wallet and MetaMask.
Perfect.
And these should be able to take care for most of the people in most of the cryptos. But one thing we have to remember, any single crypto wallet will not support all the cryptos of the world.
All right.
There are 13,000 plus cryptos, out of which 6,000 are very actively traded. You will not find even one wallet which supports all 6,000 of those.
Perfect.
So you have to do a little research and find out which is the best wallet for the cryptos that you are buying. And sometimes you may need to hold multiple wallets. But one golden rule, do not lose your secret key. The key phrase which is there, I have made this mistake in the past.
All right.
If you lose that and you end up deleting your wallet, your crypto is gone forever. You will never get it back. There is nobody who can get it back for you. And I have made that mistake. So please be very careful.
So Rohas, but we will definitely not ask you how much money you have lost. But let's get into it. You know, what's your opinion, Prasanna? This is very important statement.
It's a very good guidance by Rohas. That is why regulation is required. Today, every penny, every money is quite secure in the banking ecosystem. Even if you lose your account number or a password, you have another alternate way to go back to the bank and ask your password based upon your KYC and some of those identification mechanisms. That's how crypto industry should learn for some of those best practices and come out with some kind of a different innovations for end users. Yeah.
So as we're talking about the basics of cryptocurrencies and road ahead for all those viewers who are watching our platform for the first time, which is the best platform to opt for, or what all aspects one must consider before opening an account?
Sure. I don't want to specifically name any exchange, but we must always consider that if you are an Indian, make sure that you are only operating in those crypto exchanges which are supporting INR trading pair. Sure. Otherwise, I will tell you the problem which happens. If you are not having INR trading pair, but you are an Indian, you have your money in rupees.
Perfect.
Every time that you buy, you are going to have to convert to another crypto or a US dollar.
All right.
That is going to cost you.
Exactly.
And same when you want the money back. So stick to an exchange, and almost all the Indian exchanges definitely have INR trading pair. Then second point to look at is they should give you proper OTP system. So I prefer an exchange which gives me 2 OTPs, email and mobile. That means my account can be that much safer.
Perfect.
And then again, I find some exchanges, they make it very easy to lend and stake. So that makes my life much easier. So whatever exchange you feel is user friendly for you, go for it. But INR trading pair is critical for us to understand. Ease of use is very important, and the security level. So the OTPs and other things. I think if you consider these, you will make a good decision on which exchange to go with.
So very quickly, Prasanna, Rohas prefers two-way, verification. It's like 2 OTPs, one on email as well as on the mobile. What's your view on this?
Yeah, I think that gives a lot of confidence for a customer when they are, say example, there are customers who are investing a bit of crypto into cryptocurrencies. While their portfolio grows, they will always look at that particular wallet and the whole ecosystem. Is it really secure? And the way we see a lot of news. Recently, one of those crypto exchanges collapsed, right? So,
right, exactly.
So bringing a right security model, authentication model, adaptive security, which is so called as a second factor authentication, which gives a lot of confidence for an end user to utilize those ecosystems.
Fantastic point made. Talking about that Australian exchange which went down.
Yeah.
So Prasanna was talking about exchanges and concerns over exchanges. There was something which was going on in Australia. If you can just take us through for our viewers, what does it mean? Because if they hold their cryptocurrencies and if some of the other exchanges goes down, like the Australian, I think so roughly around 2 exchanges went down in less than 6 months.
So what happened is actually the 2 of the biggest exchange shutdown happened in Turkey this year.
All right.
In fact, more than $1 billion of crypto was lost. And then, as you're right, even in Australia, it has happened. Now, exchanges shutting down is quite a common affair.
Right.
Now, the problem what happens is, like I told you, there is custodial wallet and non-custodial.
Okay.
So when you are holding your crypto in an exchange, the private key is with the exchange.
Okay.
So that means tomorrow, if something goes wrong, you lose all your crypto. There's nothing you can do unless if the exchange returns it to you. So that is a risk that we all must understand. See, we do not face this risk if a stock exchange shuts down.
Perfect.
Because there we have a depository which is holding the shares.
All right.
But in the crypto exchange, they hold the private keys. So if something goes wrong, you will lose all your crypto.
So Prasanna, you want to just
so that's what regulation is required. So I'm again and again emphasizing, because if suppose we have seen many cases in Indian ecosystem that one bank goes down. So there is another bank who comes and pump in the money, or it's a complete regulatory ecosystem, right, governed by RBI. So that's the power of a regulation, right? If one
right.
crypto goes down, there should be an always interoperable crypto who can help. It doesn't happen in the current scenario. Yeah.
So as we are talking about investments in cryptocurrencies and basics of cryptocurrencies, like stock market, we have a lot of blue chip stocks. So if you can just highlight, Rohas, what are the blue chips of this space? If you can just take us through.
Sure. Sure. So, although that's a very difficult question to answer, but we can go with A, B, C, D, E, F. That's
right.
usually how I go. So, in A, there is something called Avalanche, B for Bitcoin, C for Chainlink, D for Decentraland, E for Ether, and F for Phantom. So, if I was to recommend, I would say these are the 6 which I could consider as very strong ones.
So you mentioned,
but again, this is not investment advice, my personal opinion.
So you mentioned about Decentraland. Metaverse is something which is going at a rapid pace. It's like a bullet train. So what's your opinion on this? If you can just elaborate more before we move on to Prasanna.
Sure. So I am a big fan of Metaverse, and I started using the Metaverse somewhere in 2003 when Second Life came up. And then I remember in 2006, there was a rock show by a band called Duran Duran, which happened in the Metaverse of Second Life. So I'm a very big fan of it. And when I look at movies like Matrix, Avatar, you begin to understand, or Inception also, how cool the Metaverse can be. And I think with Facebook entering into the field, Microsoft entering into the field, we can expect a lot of people to start using the Metaverse. Now, inside this Metaverse, there is going to be demand for buying land, making a house on top of it. Then in the house, you are going to put furniture, wallpapers, you are going to buy clothes. So it is going to create a complete virtual clone of yourself.
All right.
And I think it's really, really cool. But we have to also understand all the platforms will not succeed. So many parties are trying to get in. It's just going to be 1 or 2 which will succeed. So you need to be very careful which one you are going to be betting on. But otherwise, I'm a big fan of Metaverse.
All right. So big fan of Metaverse. Roha says, what's your opinion? Are you also a fan of Metaverse?
Yeah, I think we have seen like how industry is being moved from industry 1.0 till industry 4.0.
Perfect.
And if you look at the entertainment industry itself, right, the movies we used to see way back in 50 years and today is completely digital. So it is not surprising that something gonna come like a Metaverse, right?
All right.
And the way we see Google's or Facebook and even Jio is investing a lot heavily on the Metaverse side. So I think future will be very bright. That's how millennials are looking at, youngsters are looking at some change. And this change is going to be a drastic change. And I think there are a lot of startups, companies, they themselves now investing into Metaverse kind of a technology. Yeah.
So you guys have already spoken well about this Metaverse, and I think so this is the future of cryptocurrency and related assets as well, as Ross has always been pointing out. So what all things one should avoid, Rohas, if you can just share your piece of advice with our viewers.
Advice, I mean, avoid in what sense?
What all activities one should avoid before making a decision, ahead of making a decision in cryptocurrencies?
About which to invest in?
Which to invest in, yeah.
Sure. So I think the biggest mistake that people make is they rely on the hype.
All right.
Now, what they don't realize is that when the media starts talking about a crypto, it has already reached kind of the peak, because the people who have built a bull position in it, first they will buy at a low rate, then they will start telling the whole world what a good crypto it is. Ordinary person gets in, these people sell, and then ordinary person ends up losing. Exactly. This is a very standard scenario. So that is why it is always said, buy the rumor, sell the news.
Exactly.
So classic example would be Polkadot. Right now, Polkadot, which is a very good platform, but it is also proof that just because a project is good does not mean it is a good investment. So we all knew that Polkadot is a great project and the price was constantly going up. Then came the time of the Polkadot auction. Now, logically, that is the time for the price to fall, because now all the hype is over. Now people have to bid on it, and then they have to actually deploy and make good solutions. Now there is no action left. Now it will become very boring. And that's exactly what happened. And a lot of people end up losing their money. So you really need to, that is why I said right in the beginning, please understand what that crypto does, and only then you should consider investing in it. Then you will understand what is the time frame, when is it likely to do what. Another example could be Solana and the problems that people who have invested in it are facing right now. So that is why, understand before you put your money.
So Prasanna, as Rohas has rightly pointed about certain cryptocurrencies and certain crypto assets will do well. He spoke well about Polkadot and Solana. What's your view on it?
Yeah, I will not highlight examples, but I look at there are more than 12,000 plus cryptocurrencies. And why do we need so many cryptocurrencies? At the same time, governments, many countries are looking at their own digital currencies, so-called central bank digital currencies. And we have seen, say example, India, right? How many banks we have? We don't have thousands of banks. So ultimately, we need to see why these cryptocurrencies are there in our life, and so many. Are we not enough for 5, 6 cryptocurrencies or 10, 12 or hundreds, which are giving actual traction, actual practical use case and taking our lifestyle to the next level? I think whichever will do, I think those technologies, I think blockchain based cryptos will be successful. Yeah.
Guruji, small request, crypto assets,
Yeah.
not cryptocurrencies.
Absolutely. So I think from here onwards, it's all about crypto assets, Rohas. Perfectly.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah, so I think Rohas, you rightly said that there is a lot of attraction around cryptos. There is a lot of attraction around various use cases. There is news, there are social media interactions, but ultimately we need to really look at how are we really moving ahead on this crypto space or blockchain space. So some highlight based upon your last 4 or 5 years, or maybe more than that, you are involved into blockchain and crypto. How do you really see the shape of a whole crypto and blockchain technology here onwards? Yeah.
So I think now as the market is maturing, I expect it to touch $5 trillion by about 2025. And
Fantastic.
for 2022, my expectation is that crypto would reach a $3 trillion market capitalization. Now, I believe a lot of this new value which will be created will come from the world of wrapped assets,
Yeah.
where we are wrapping the world's traditional assets and putting them on blockchain. Today, that has already happened in fiat currency. So we have the stable coins where we can see $100 billion plus is already there. We have begun to see tokenized stocks. Then we are also beginning to see gold, which is now being tokenized. We have already seen the birth of the world's first coffee coin, where in Brazil, they are issuing the crypto against coffee stock actually being held. So I believe the next growth will come with more such assets being tokenized. So whether it is intellectual property or it is a human talent or it is other commodities, I think that will bring in at least $1 trillion worth of market capitalization to our industry. And that's a good sign. Another thing I also want to request people, instead of buying individual cryptos, try to go for a sector.
All
So
right.
suppose you are bullish on NFT, then take the top few NFT cryptos and buy and keep. If you are bullish on Metaverse, take the top Metaverse cryptos. Don't go for single cryptos, you may end up losing. Go for the bunch of the best in a particular category.
So don't go for single cryptos. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
Rohas is. What's your view on this?
So I think it's a very nicely narrated by Rohas, and I really respect, and I've been following him since last 4 or 5 years. And the way I see the traction, right? If you look at today, there are 7 or 8 types of entities, so-called sharing economy, right? So Ola, Uber, or there are weavers of co-working spaces. So study says, rather there are reports wherein we will see in the next 4 or 5 years more than 300 plus entities on a sharing economy,
Sure.
which will be shared as a tokens, right? So I think that's a traction. When we want to create those ecosystems or marketplaces, we'll end up building those based upon a blockchain kind of a technology, wherein we'll have a tokenization and kind of a trust and security which will involve in those ecosystems. That's the way I look at it. So I'll not be surprised. There will be different tokens, right? Say example, sugar coin or a wheat coin or something related to co-working space, or somebody comes and says that this is my sports coin, or I think there is a no end for bringing that kind of ecosystem, because that's a way of transactions going to happen in the future.
So we spoke really well about Metaverse. We spoke really well about crypto assets and what are the future of cryptocurrencies, and how Rohas, you spoke really well about what investors should avoid before making any bets. Your closing statement, what's your view about this sector, and how you want to close this segment?
Sure. So in conclusion, what I'd like to say for 2022, I seriously urge all the potential investors and people who want to put the money, please first learn about it.
Perfect.
Understand what each crypto does before you put money, because I feel bad when people say crypto is too volatile.
Right.
Certain cryptos are extremely volatile, but if you do your research and identify the good ones, it's actually a very great industry to be in. So please do your own research. That's my closing sentence.
Do your own research, Prasanna. There's the last word coming in from Rohas. What's your view?
So I think my view is more towards the technology, right? The technology behind the cryptocurrencies and NFTs, or you talk about DeFi, blockchain. So blockchain is going to change our life. I think it's not only crypto, but we will see a lot of use cases. We need a lot of filtering. We need a lot of, rather regulation should be in a direction that it should flourish crypto. It shouldn't be that this will diminish a crypto kind of a technology. It's a very powerful and it will bring a lot of use cases. Say example, financial inclusion. Today, 2 billion people don't have a direct access of a banking, and crypto comes, like Bitcoin kind of a use case comes and say, this is what I can really derive. Now just imagine all countries coming together, or a good regulation coming together, create that ecosystem so easily for every human being. So that's the power. I think we need to look at the power behind crypto, that's a blockchain, and let's look at a good use case in that sector. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's a word coming in from Prasanna. Rohas, thank you so much, gentlemen, for being a part of the show.
My
And
pleasure.
we really enjoyed, I hope that our viewers will gather more information and they will invest more wisely from here on. And I hope that this show brings in a lot of clarity about how to invest in cryptocurrency. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being part of the show. Once again, thank you so much, Rohas Nagpal, for giving us your time. Prasanna, as usual,
Yeah,
thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Yeah.